we begin today with labor law reforms and why the reforms were needed, what was the problem, and so on. So we'll discuss today on labor law reforms in India. That is where we will start our talks today, labor law reforms in India. And when we talk about labor law reforms in India, let us first try understanding what were these reforms and why were they needed. So, reasons for labor law reforms. Reasons for, good morning all of you who have joined me just now. Thank you for wishing me. Good morning Anjali, Shubham, Alok, Krishna, Shobit, all of you. Good morning. Okay. So when you look at this, the reasons for labor law reforms were, just taking it one by one. First, presence of multiple labor laws in the country. Presence of multiple labor laws in the country. There were several labor laws present in the country. In fact, 144 laws for labor protection, leading to more confusion in arbitration. जब आप कोर्ट जाते हो तो अगर 140 से ज़्यादा लॉज होंगे तो किसी ना किसी लॉ से कोई ना कोई तरीका या प्रावधान निकाला जा सकता है जिससे कि एक पार्टी दूसरी पार्टी को हरा सके. तो मल्टीपल लेबर लॉज वर क्रिएटिंग मोर प्रॉब्लम्स देन सॉल्यूशंस. सिंस दे वर मल्टीपल इन नेचर, it meant that one way or the other, the court would remain confused about how to give a judgment based on various contradictory elements in the labor laws of various nature. So that was one problem, that there were multiple labor laws that created more confusions and resulted in delays in decision making. Delays in decision making. Good morning, Drishti. The second reason was, apart from multiple labor laws, the second reason was laws were becoming outdated unable to cater to changing labor market with changing technology and economy. The laws were now outdated. बहुत सारे laws थे जो 1940s में बने, 50s में बने, 60s में बने. वो laws उस समय के लिए ठीक थे. जो law कानून उस वक्त बना, the laws made in 40s, 50s, 60s, they were good for those time period, but only amendments to those laws may not have helped. So we needed a new set of law to assure that we get better returns, from the labor market, so that employment generation will not get hindered. I'll give you an example. Hello, Shiv Shankar, good morning. I'll give you an example. Say no reference for gig workers, GIG. इनकी चर्चा हम कर चुके हैं पहले globalization में. So if a worker is a gig worker working in a system where it's not necessarily a proper worker-employer relation, but he is a worker nevertheless, not even identified by our labor laws. So just to give you an example so that you can keep it in mind. For example, no provision for gig workers weak rules for migrant labor, that kind of a thing. A lot of worker migration has happened in India, and we saw their problems firsthand during COVID, how they suffered. But there were very weak rules regarding them. और जो कानून बने भी थे उसे कोई पालन नहीं करता था क्योंकि वो बहुत छिपे हुए कानून थे. 1979 में एक माइग्रेंट लेबर एक्ट आया था. There was a migrant labor act in 1979, but it was weak enough and not many people would follow it. That was another problem in it. Gig economy workers were not recognized. So this was another problem that needed to be rectified. So again, the government had to take action on that. Third, industrial dispute settlement was too time consuming industrial dispute settlement was too time consuming and therefore discouraged employment. The example I was giving you in the last class, that the employer would rather change to machines. Worker employ करने की जगह machines लगा लेते थे employer, कि industrial dispute settlement में काफ़ी time लग जाता था. तो उनको लगा ये trade union act बहुत cumbersome है, बहुत सारी उसमें, जैसे एक example देता हूँ, any set of workers more than 10 people could make a trade union. So one company had multiple trade unions. And that meant any kind of confusion in the company, you had to settle it with multiple trade unions. And that meant never a settlement. एक कंपनी के अंदर मल्टीपल ट्रेड यूनियन हो जाते थे और फिर सेटलमेंट कभी रीच ही नहीं होता था. तो वो कंपनीज फिर इससे अच्छा सोचती थी मशीन लगा लें कि एम्प्लॉयज़ को ज़्यादा एम्प्लॉय करने की जगह. तो ये एक डिस्करेजमेंट होता था टू एम्प्लॉयमेंट, to training of the workers, and that was again a problem in the old labor acts. The fourth problem we see is poor Contract Labor Act promoted informal employment through oral contract which discriminated against the workers. The Contract Labor Act did not allow for several contracts. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर एक्ट इस तरह से डिजाइंड था, 1961 में ये पास हुआ था, 1969 में, आई एम सॉरी. सो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर एक्ट वाज पास्ड इन 1969 एंड इट डिड नॉट अलाउ फॉर कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल लेबर बियॉन्ड सर्टेन इंडस्ट्रीज. कुछ इंडस्ट्रीज को छोड़ के कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल लेबर अलाउड नहीं था. ऑल्सो इट सेड दैट यू कैन नॉट हायर मोर देन 10% of your total employment force as contractual labor. So 90% of your workforce had to be a permanent worker. Also, the seasonal workers, seasonal employers then, employers in textile sector, employers in sugar industry, they would tend to hire workers on oral contract. अब since workers कमज़ोर होते थे, since workers used to be poor, workers needed the job more, they would even accept an oral contract. Because of their poverty, because of their issues, the workers would even accept an oral contract, that all right, give me an oral contract, I will be okay with it, rather than any kind of a written contract. At least I have a job. But in the process, the employers would set very tough conditions on them, and then the worker would have to pay for that. So that was another problem in the system, that poor Contract Labor Act resulted in promoting informal employment, that there would be no registered contract. जब जब गैर कानूनी हो जाएगा तो लोग उसे दिखाते ही नहीं थे। तो गैर कानूनी काम हो रहे थे, छिपा कर हो रहे थे, और उसके वजह से प्रॉब्लम ज़्यादा हो गई थी। एंड देन arbitrary powers with labor inspectors and their less numbers led to more corruption than safety. Labor inspectors were sometimes given arbitrary powers. जो मर्जी उन कभी कभी उनको ऊपर फाइन लगाने के पास थे, कंपनी सील कर देने के पास थे। So they would make those, have those arbitrary powers. Arbitrary का मतलब जहाँ कभी कभी बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्क्रिशन इन्वॉल्व हो और रूल्स की उतनी ज़्यादा डेफिनेशंस ना हो, रूल्स वेल डिफाइंड ना हो। तो अगर रूल्स वेल डिफाइंड नहीं है, इफ द रूल्स आर नॉट वेल डिफाइंड, and if it is on the discretion of the labor inspector also to look after, say, more than 5 lakh companies, if you are appointing not even 5,000 labor inspectors, then it meant that labor inspectors would arbitrarily visit a company or an enterprise or a factory, and they would take a decision, and then the employer would bribe them very often, and the decision will be revoked. And bribing the labor inspector, the employer now knew that I can exploit the worker and nobody can save them. So that again became problem one. Secondly, many employers remained under fear that labor inspectors should be kept happy, should be kept bribed, or at least looked after, so that he doesn't come to your company and starts creating trouble for you. मैनेज करने की बात होने लगी, कि सरकारी सिस्टम को मैनेज करके रखो तो तुम पे खतरा नहीं आएगा। और कभी कभी इनको यूज़ करो कि अगर आपके कॉम्पिटिटर्स आपसे अच्छा कर रहे हैं तो उनके ऊपर लेबर इंस्पेक्टर लगा दिया, जानबूझ के केस करवा दिए, लिटिगेशन में फंसा दिया। सो इनका नतीजा क्या होता है? जब आपके कानून कंफ्यूज्ड हो, आपके कानून वेल डिफाइंड ना हो, कोई किसी पे केस कर सकता है या करवा सकता है, किसी के ऊपर रेड करवा सकता है। इट डिस्करेजेस ऑनेस्ट पीपल टू एंटर सच इंडस्ट्रीज। इट ऑल्सो रिजल्ट्स इन लॉट ऑफ resources lost only to manage the poor rules than to spend for quality improvement, cost cutting. Resources का use क्यों होना चाहिए? To improve the quality by better technology, to cut on cost with research and development. But if I have to use my resources in managing a labor inspector, in fighting cases in the court, I will not have much left for this. So that again became a problem part in this process. And then also, discouraged growth of industries and employment generation beyond a limit by a firm for fear of being covered under Industrial Disputes Act. Industrial Disputes Act. बहुत सारे फर्म्स ग्रो ही नहीं करते थे। ये इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट्स एक्ट कहता था कि अगर आप 100 वर्कर्स से ज़्यादा एम्प्लॉय करोगे, द इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट एक्ट वुड से that if you are employing more than 100 workers, if you are employing more than 100 workers, then you come under the act and you will have to give them gratuity, provident fund. You cannot even fire a worker if he doesn't report for work for even 1 year, अगर वो sick leave ले रहे हैं, and so on. Retrenchment compensation देनी पड़ेगी. Retrenchment was not well defined in the act. So these were the issues in India's labor laws. रिजल्टिंग इन पुअर एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली ये जितना भी सख्ती थी ये सिर्फ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर लेबर के लिए थी, जो कि इंडिया में 17% है. All these tough laws and so on were for organized sector workers who comprise only 17% of labor force in India. The rest 83% is unorganized sector labor, and these kind of laws were encouraging unorganized sector labor, encouraging informalization of the workforce rather than organized sector workforce going for higher work appointments. So this was the problem, if you ask me, about labor force development in India. This became problem one. All right, now to avoid these problems, government introduced 4 codes converted to act in 2019, the wage code, which was made into a legal system, and 2020, when the government brought in industrial relations code, social security code, and workers' health protection from hazard and workplace security code. So these are the 4 new codes that have been introduced by the government. These are the 4 new codes that have been introduced by the government starting from 2019, and then thereafter taking it into 2020. Starting from 2019, in 2019 August, code on wages were passed, and then 2020. That is how the government has been covering it up. So the government says that code of wages, so we begin with that then. Sorry. Steps taken to improve labor conditions under these acts. So let's talk first about wage code, that the government has introduced. So 1, it combines provisions of multiple laws like Equal Remuneration Act. There were multiple laws in India with respect to the wage codes that you talk about. Payment of Wages Act, Minimum Wages Act, so Equal Remuneration Act, Payment of Wages Act, Minimum Wages Act, etc. into a single rule. That is one thing that the government has done under wage code. That multiple rules have now been brought under a single rule that they need to pay across. It also defines, so this is the first benefit, multiplicity of laws have now been changed, and there is a singular law under which the workforce will operate. So this gives clarity to both employer as well as the employees. Second, gives proper definition to wages. वेजेस का मतलब क्या, इसको एक कानून बना दिया कि अच्छा वेज मतलब कि जो आपने पे किया सैलरी, जो आप पे करोगे फॉर वर्क डन एज अ कमीशन, एंड जो आप पे करो, सो सैलरी, कमीशन एंड वर्क डन as a bonus will all be taken as part of wages. So government gives proper definition to wages and makes a rule that other payments like perks, your house rent allowance and so on, other payments cannot be more than 50% of wages. Other payments cannot be more than 50% of wages. तो ये कानून बना है कि wages क्या हैं, और ये कहा कि बहुत कंपनीज क्या करती हैं, many companies what they do is they show that the wage is less for their upper grade employees, but then they give them a lot of other payments, and then the difference between the employee at the other upper grade and the employee at the lower grade is huge because of the difference in perks. So the law says that you will have to then make everything transparent, and if it goes beyond 50% of the wage, then it will be counted as a part of wage. कि आप ये wage pay कर रहे हो employee जो workers हैं उन्हें. So that will make sure that you can easily catch whether there is inequality in wage payment or not. That is the purpose of doing it. The other decision they have taken is wage payment has to be equal for equal work in all categories. आप बोनस दे रहे हो, आप हाउस रेंट अलाउंस दे रहे हो, आप किसी तरह का कंट्रीब्यूशन कर रहे हो सोशल सिक्योरिटी में, इन सभी केसेस में वेज पेमेंट जो है वो इक्वल होने चाहिए. इन सभी केसेस में वेज पेमेंट विल बी इक्वल. देन सेपरेट डेफिनेशन for worker and employee. There are separate definitions for worker and employee. Employee is taken as a larger set. तो जो आपके workers हैं वो तो आपके employee हैं ही. Those who are your workers are certainly your employees. But even those who are your consultancy providers, service providers, they will also be taken as your employees. Alright, so your workers will be your employees, but even the content providers, service providers, consultancy providers will also be taken as a part of your employee group. This will allow the firms to deduct their expenditure of paying to their employees. नहीं तो इनकम टैक्स कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स एक्ट में फर्म्स को ये खर्चे करने पड़ते थे एम्प्लॉयज़ पर, कंसल्टेंसी पे एंड सो ऑन पे, बट वो उससे डिडक्ट नहीं कर पाते थे अपने कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स पेमेंट में. तो अब फर्म्स को ये बेनिफिट मिल रहा है कि आप इनको भी अपना खर्चा दिखा सकते हो. यू कैन शो दैट दीज आर योर एक्सपेंडिचर्स एंड यू कैन पे लेसर टैक्स टू द गवर्नमेंट, बट दैट विल अलाउ यू टू हैव मोर फॉर्मलाइजेशन ऑफ इकोनॉमी, बिकॉज इफ द फर्म हैज टू शो देम एज योर एक्सपेंडिचर, then these people who otherwise worked mostly on cash etc. will also have to report their income. So that is another thing that has been included in it. Wages will include everything, Bipin. It will include the salaries you pay, the bonus that you receive, and any payment that you receive with respect to remuneration for work. That is all be taken as wages. Then the act also says that there will be a floor wage or a minimum wage which will be common to entire economy. एक्ट कहता है एक सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट मिनिमम वेज डिक्लेयर करेगी और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स उसके नीचे मिनिमम वेज डिक्लेयर नहीं कर सकते. आप समझना, ये सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट वुड डिक्लेयर अ मिनिमम वेज, द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स कैन कीप द मिनिमम वेज एट दैट और अबव इट. they cannot declare a minimum wage below that. So this will give the workers protection that nobody will be paid below that minimum wage, and it says that this floor wage will be applicable to even unorganized sector workers. This floor wage will be applicable to even unorganized sector workers. Equal Remuneration Act, Kumud. Equal Remuneration Act. Also, Equal Remuneration Act. That is what I said, Kumud. It further says that there will be no limit, no wage limit, I'm sorry, for application of labor laws. Earlier laws restricted to rupees 10,000. पुराने लॉज कहते थे कि 10,000 से नीचे वाले एम्प्लॉय को ज़्यादा प्रोटेक्शन मिलनी चाहिए. ये लॉ कहता है सारे एम्प्लॉयज़ को बराबर प्रोटेक्शन मिलनी चाहिए, no matter which kind of work they are doing. So that is the aspect here, that every employee will be recognized as an employee and should get proper security provision. Further says, defines contractual work and contract labor. कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल वर्क को डिफाइन करता है और कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर को डिफाइन करता है. द स्टेट्स कैन फिक्स देयर ओन मिनिमम वेज, सुमित, बट द मिनिमम वेज कैन नॉट बी डिफरेंट और लेसर देन व्हाट द सेंटर हैज फिक्स्ड. द स्टेट्स कैन फिक्स द मिनिमम वेज, but it cannot be different from what the center has fixed. That is the aspect here. Alok, the onus will be on appointment of a facilitator come inspector to check it, and each state is expected to appoint them in large enough numbers so that proper coverage is done. All right. The onus of checking whether the floor wage is paid or not will be on inspector come facilitator, and the name has been changed so that it is about not only for inspection but to facilitate the relation between employer and employee. So the onus will be on that, and the state governments are expected to appoint sufficient numbers so that it can be implemented well enough. All right, that is the aspect on that. So these are certain changes and improvements that have been brought about in the labor code bill or the wage code bill. Then the government says, apart from wage code bill, what they bring across is industrial relations bill. Again, there are some rules made over there, around 4 or 5 very important rules that they have created in industrial relations bill. First is that industrial disputes will be settled by creating an, okay, so let's go into that. 2, bill, now an act, that has been provisioned. So first is that all industrial disputes which are among the companies, so except for charitable institutions and except for non-profit institutions, all other institutions will be covered under this. So A covers all industrial disputes except charitable and non-profit organizations. Disputes to be resolved. Disputes to be resolved in specially appointed industrial tribunals. So they say that their earlier laws used to take the dispute to High Court. They say that you don't need to take the dispute to High Court. There will be specially designed industrial tribunals. Floor wage will mean it will be for the minimum wage, Sahil. So a better job will definitely pay you a better wage. It's not that category wise every job you need a floor wage. Floor wage means this is the minimum wage you will pay to your most unskilled and least paid worker. After that you can always categorize the wage rates. All right. Okay. Then it says, so specially appointed industrial tribunals. The good thing is, again, covers all labor, including domestic labor, non-formal workforce, contractual labor. So any dispute anywhere. Industrial relations का मतलब होता है employer-employee relation, workers' condition in that, what kind of wages they will get, whether they will be considered formalized or not. All that is industrial relations that you look for. It also includes another clause, provisions fixed term employment. Fixed term employment is permanent, time-bound contract to workers who will receive all social security like normal workers, or say permanent workers. It's a time-bound contract. This is to facilitate contract labor in India. This is to facilitate contract labor in India. All right, permanent time-bound contract, 6 साल के लिए, 2 साल के लिए, 4 साल के लिए, 6 महीने के लिए, 8 महीने के लिए, कुछ भी. That permanent time-bound contract, under which no matter how long the contract is, the worker will qualify to get social security like provident fund, insurance premium, and so on. Earlier the rule was that if your contract is for less than 6 months, then you don't need to pay social security to the worker. Earlier the rule was that if your contract was less than 6 months, then you don't need to pay social security to your workers. And that meant that many companies deliberately kept it below 6 months. Many companies deliberately kept it below 6 months and the contract. And many companies kept oral contract even for longer period. So now the companies are being encouraged that you can register your contract, because no matter what kind of contract it is, you will have to give social security to your workers, and it protects the lower end workers quite a bit. Lower end workers quite a bit, because it allows them to have good enough security even if the work is contractual in nature. Even if the work is contractual in nature. Then it further says that there will be, the retrenchment laws are well specified. रिट्रेंचमेंट का मतलब जब आप एम्प्लॉय को हटा देते हो, firing laws are well specified, that is, under what conditions can you fire the employee, and it includes certain conditions. If the employee is not reporting at work for more than 1 year, even saying that they are sick, they can still be retrenched without any payment compensation. It says if the employees are destructing the property on the campus, they can be retrenched immediately without any compensation. If the employee has been found embezzling funds, then retrenchment without compensation. So specifications have been put on what kind of retrenchment can be followed by the companies, and under what conditions are these retrenchments allowed. That is the aspect that has been brought. Also, it specifies increased ceiling on wage payment. Government had put some ceiling, upper limit. Ceiling का मतलब होता है upper limit, कि आप इस कैटेगरी के एम्प्लॉय को इससे ज़्यादा पैसे नहीं दे सकते. For a particular category of employee, you cannot pay more than this much amount. The purpose was that the firms don't start showing extra expenditure on wage and thereby showing less profit and hence, cheat on their tax. But then it was realized that it was curtailing talent from being brought into the industry, and sometimes even if the firms wanted to pay more, the workers could not receive more. So wage ceiling has been revised upwards. कि नहीं ज़्यादा wage ceiling कर दो, upper limit ज़्यादा कर दो, so that workers can be paid higher at any level of job, considering all the inflation that has happened in the last 25-30 years. Another is rules on strikes are well specified. This is another good thing that has happened. Under what conditions can you go on a strike? Under what condition is a strike legal? How much notice you have to give for a strike? What kind of negotiations you can do during the strike? Who will be the negotiators? All this discussion has been done. कौन लोग negotiate कर सकते हैं? पहले था कि specified ही नहीं था कि अगर strike पे गए तो negotiation कौन करेगा? तो अब सरकार ने एक नियम बनाया कि अगर आप strike पे गए, if the workers have gone on strike, then trade unions representing 50% or more workers, their leaders can come for negotiation. Earlier it was trade unions representing 75% or more workers. So there would be too many participants. Now it says trade unions representing 50% or more workers can come and talk on the strike, on resolution. Secondly, workers will have to give a 14-day notice to the management if they want to go on strike. There cannot be a sudden strike. Workers will have to give a 14-day notice to the management if they're going on strike. If there is a negotiation underway, they cannot go on strike. अगर बातचीत हो रही है तो strike पे जाना allowed नहीं है. Because it was seen that many times the trade union leaders, to blackmail the owners of the small companies, would threaten strike and take money from them. क्योंकि कहते थे हम कल से strike पे चले जाएंगे, पैसे लेंगे आपसे. And since they would be sometimes very authoritative people, well connected to politicians, even the workers had no choice but to listen to them. And unnecessary industrial disputes would happen. So specification on striking has been done, that what kind of jobs, what kind of situations can allow you that you can go for a strike. So in that case, again, the industrial security is maintained. The choice of the worker to go on a strike, form trade union, has been maintained, but it is also assured that there is no sudden strike that the firms have to face. That there is no sudden strike that the firms have to face. So that's again a benefit that comes under this act. Now see, the next is Social Security Code. Third, Social Security Code 2020. So this is another thing that has been brought in. The best benefit it brings is defines aggregator. Aggregator covers all types of employers. आप contract employer हो, आप regular employment देते हो, आप agriculture पे employment देते हो, सभी को cover कर लिया. Aggregator नाम रख दिया इनको. All types of employer. defines employees, all categories. That is, it includes even gig workers, that workers who are outside, please understand this, gig workers, that is workers who are outside the regular employer-employee relation. They are also included in it. Gig workers, that is workers who are outside employer-employee relation. They are included in it. It includes, so apart from gig workers, it also defines one more term, platform workers. These are people like Zomato delivery boys, Swiggy delivery boys, Ola Uber drivers, people who are attached to a technical company and are working attached to their platform. किसी के ऐप के थ्रू कनेक्ट होकर जो काम कर रहे हैं वो हो गए प्लेटफॉर्म वर्कर्स. तो अलग अलग डेफिनेशन दिए हैं. रेगुलर वर्कर्स कौन है, गिग वर्कर्स कौन है, प्लेटफॉर्म वर्कर्स कौन है, एंड देन डिफाइनिंग देयर रोल एंड द प्रोटेक्शन दे कैन रिसीव अंडर सोशल सिक्योरिटी. सो गिग वर्कर्स, प्लेटफॉर्म वर्कर्स, other categories of workers. So well defined relations for aggregators and employees, that who are employers and who are employees. That's one big thing required, because in many cases, Ayush, leave a mail for me regarding this. अभी हमारे इस डिस्कशन से ये कनेक्टेड नहीं है, तुम एक ईमेल भेज देना मुझे, मैं तुम्हें इसका आंसर कर दूंगा. The aggregation again, and it also covers the unorganized workers. It also covers unorganized workers. And it says that, so that is another thing, even the unorganized workers covered under it. It says onus on the firm, ये employers पे onus डालता है, responsibility डालता है. Onus on the firm to recognize all the workers and all workers above 16 years of age, all workers above 16 years of age should register on government portal. So it says government has created a portal for the workers. All workers above 16 years of age should register on the government portal to make sure that they are recognized under the act. And the onus will be on the firm. ये बातें अखबार वाले कभी कभी छिपा रहे हैं. वो कहते हैं वर्कर पे डाल दिया है सारा कुछ कि उसे रजिस्टर करना है, नहीं तो उसको फ़ायदा नहीं मिलेगा. नहीं, कानून में ये भी लिखा है कि अगर वर्कर ने रजिस्टर नहीं किया और फर्म ने उनको एम्प्लॉय कर रखा है जानते हुए कि उन्होंने रजिस्टर नहीं किया, तो फर्म पे भी मुकदमा चलेगा. Even the firm will be held guilty. So it's not only whether the workers will be considered as responsible, even the firm will be held responsible if the worker has not registered on the portal of the government. So every worker to be registered on the government portal. Yes, they are, Sahil, they are different. Then it says all benefits like employees provident fund at 10% of wage, employees insurance, social safety, gratuity to be paid to all the workers. The government says गिग वर्कर्स हो, प्लेटफॉर्म वर्कर्स हो, कोई भी हो, जो एम्प्लॉयर होंगे उन्हें उनकी सोशल सिक्योरिटी की पेमेंट करनी होगी. प्रोविडेंट फंड पेमेंट, ग्रेचुइटी पेमेंट, सेफ्टी पेमेंट्स, दिस विल हैव टू बी गिवन टू ऑल द वर्कर्स. Social safety payments will have, security payments, everything will have to be done by the employers. Yes, it specifies and defines, correct Sumit. Even maternity benefits, all of them will have to be given to the workers. And again, it subsumes various labor laws defining social security code. Various labor laws defining social security are all subsumed under this. So mainly the objective is that every type of worker is secured, gets some pension, gets some provident fund, gets a gratuity, gets security on the work, for workforce and so on. And again, take all the laws together. Wage को अलग से define किया, industrial relations को अलग से define किया, social security को अलग से define किया, and then fourth, the law on security at the workplace. The fourth is when you talk about the law on occupational safety and health and working conditions. So the law on code on occupational safety, health, and working conditions. Code on occupational safety, health, and working conditions. So again, within this, if you look at it, in short, it is called OSH code. In short, it is called the OSH code. So one is that it defines who will be contract labor again. It defines who will be an employee, an employer, what will be an establishment, So again, for legal purposes, defines contract labor, employee, employer, establishment, that is enterprise, कि कौन से establishment इसके अंदर आते हैं, etc. So no obfuscation, कोई confusion नहीं रखा है, define कर दिया, well defined system बनाया कि कौन होंगे जो employer होंगे, कौन होंगे जो employee होंगे. Then they again have a definition for, also defines hazardous process, health threats, threat to mental stability, etc. कि hazardous process क्या होगा, physical health कैसे आएंगे, mental stability कैसे affect होगी, इन सब चीज़ों को उन्होंने improve इसके अंदर define कर दिया. Then the act says B puts responsibility on employer, puts responsibility on employer to provision health safety in contention with workers requirement. और काफ़ी डिटेल्ड है ये डेफिनेशन, यहाँ तक कि इसमें यह भी कहा गया है, इट्स अ वेरी डिटेल्ड डेफिनेशन. इट हैज़ इवन सेड दैट इफ यू डोंट गिव अ वर्कर प्लेस टू सिट, place to use washrooms, place to go for separate washrooms for women, men and transgender, place to go for bathing, so your employee place should have everything like this: bathing space, toilet space, sitting space, eating space, all that should be made within the system to qualify under this act. If these spaces are missing, you can be penalized. So workers' health safety, both physical and mental, is what they have specified. As I told you, specifics on that. Third, gives right to workers to demand safety standard and health benefits and report to inspector and facilitator in case of violation. I'll tell you what is new in this. Earlier the workers could report only through trade unions. पहले रूल था कि एक इंडिविजुअल वर्कर को अगर कोई दिक्कत हो रही है तो वो रिपोर्ट नहीं कर सकते, ट्रेड यूनियंस के थ्रू ही रिपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. The act now says that the workers can demand safety regulations and can report to the employer aggregator regarding this to the firms, to the government, and that can then be taken for penalty. I'm coming to all that, Alok, Abhishek. I'll be coming to that. So these are the laws and the supposed benefits that they create. You know, if you look at it, benefits from laws. First, reduces multiple laws. Second, defines each point which will improve interpretation. Third, specifies rules of retrenchment. So this will make industrial relations better because everybody will know, okay, under what rule people can be fired better. Promotes formal contracts and long-term contracts, promotes formal contracts and long-term contracts, which will also encourage employees training by the firm. The firms can keep employees for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years and keep training them on the work, but the firms are not bound to keep them forever, kind of. Identifies gig workers and platform workers and unorganized workers. So it will add to their social security, adding to their social security. Yeah? Defines health hazards, safety hazards, and sets protocol to assure workers' safety. It defines what is a health hazard, what is a safety hazard, and sets protocol that these are the protocols you have to maintain for workers' safety. Shobit, the problem is if there is an oral contract, how do you find? Oral contracts are illegal already. There is no legality to oral contract. But problem is how do you find it? And I'm coming to that now in a while. Seventh, provisions for facilitator and inspector to improve industrial relations. As I already told you, their purpose will not only be to inspect, but to facilitate the relation between worker and employer. Eighth, increases scope of Industrial Disputes Act by only including firms employing greater than 300 workers. Earlier it was 100 workers. Greater than 300 workers, promoting growth of employment in medium scale enterprise. Yeah? Increasing the scope of Industrial Disputes Act by only including firms employing greater than 300 workers. अभी तक था कि 100 वर्कर के ऊपर गए आप आईडीए में आ जाओगे. अब उन्होंने कहा आप 300 वर्कर्स के ऊपर गए तो आप इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट्स एक्ट में आओगे. Promoting the growth of employment in medium scale enterprises. That now medium scale enterprises will be encouraged to employ more people, even take employment to 150, 200 people, knowing that they will not suddenly come under Industrial Disputes Act, and they will have more flexibility in hiring and firing workers, in training workers, retrenching workers, and so on. Now see, now, when you, Pradeep, that is the point, that is what we are coming to now. The problems that we will face in spite of it, challenges, in spite of labor code. One, oral contracts, wherever done, will remain exploitative. So if there is an oral contract done by the employer, it still remains exploitative in nature. And employer sees not much incentive to make the contract formal. Workers को ही push करना पड़ेगा, but workers poor हैं, तो उनका push करना उतना easy नहीं होगा. It won't be that easy for workers to push across. So wherever there is oral contract, the worker will remain exploited, and it will be difficult to find out every oral contract, especially in remote regions, in far off distant regions. But the positive is at least you have a law which now protects the workers. So if you didn't have a law or very confused law, then in any case you couldn't protect the workers. Unorganized workers will be protected because they are recognized in the law. So that is where it says, portal to recognize unorganized workers has not been established which should have been done with formation of law. जैसे लॉ बना, ये पोर्टल पहले से तैयार होना चाहिए था, ये अभी तक इस्टेब्लिश नहीं हुआ है. कि अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड वर्कर्स खुद को कहाँ रजिस्टर करें. पोर्टल टू रिकॉग्नाइज एंड रजिस्टर द अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड वर्कर हैज नॉट येट बीन एस्टेब्लिश्ड. सो आइडियली दिस पोर्टल शुड हैव बीन देयर सिंस अर्लियर डेज. ऑलराइट, सो दैट हैज नॉट बीन डन. That's again a challenge. That ideally the portal should have been there since earlier days, and that is not there. That's a big challenge that we face at the moment. So that's your second problem that exists when it comes to challenges in spite of labor code. The third is employers can violate labor's rights by continuous negotiations to prevent strike. प्रोविजन है कि आप नेगोशिएशन कर रहे हो तो स्ट्राइक नहीं कर सकते. नेगोशिएशन कर रहे हो तो स्ट्राइक नहीं कर सकते. But continuous negotiations to prevent strike is also something that the employers will do very often to confuse the workers. The employers will do very often to confuse the workers. You bear with me, I'm not visible to you, I know, but I'm surely audible to you. Yeah, I hope I'm visible to you too. Just wanted my sanitizer, nothing else. Okay. So when you look at this per se, that's another challenge that you have, that employers can deliberately keep on negotiating with the workers. And the most important challenge, most important, जो आप almost हर बात पे लिख सकते हो, that how do you make sure that the laws are necessarily implemented in the spirit in which they have been passed? How do you make sure that the law has been necessarily implemented in the spirit in which it has been passed? जिस स्पिरिट में लॉ पास हुए हैं उसी स्पिरिट में इंप्लीमेंट होंगे, ये अश्योरेंस कैसे लाओगे? ये एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है. सो हाउ डू यू मेक श्योर दैट द लॉ कैन बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड in spirit, because there are too many onuses. The problem is that firms may still try checking on the workers' rights. So what you largely need is educate your workers better, uplift their position in information sector, and create the tribunals for industries much faster. Tribunal of Industries, regulatory body, and government's honesty. All this will be tested. सरकारी तंत्र में कितना ज़्यादा honesty है, how much is the government system honest towards its workers, and how a tribunal can function better, how quickly you appoint that and bring it across. All that will mean a lot, or will matter a lot when it comes to implementing these bills. So your conclusion should be that finally it is the implementation. If your facilitator cum inspector numbers are high, if the state governments can lap it up quickly and implement the rules better, because ultimately it's up to the state governments to make the rules. So Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, they have passed their own rules. So obviously with their own rules, which are very much in conjunction with these rules, but slightly different, it will be important to make sure that those rules get implemented on the ground. एक दो बातों से बचना. Sometimes people tell you that giving a firing right to the employer can distort workers' position. No. There should be an equal term between employer and employee. Employee should have the right of sustenance at work, and employer should have the right to fire the worker. The rules should be set better. रूल्स क्लियर होने चाहिए, कब ऐसा हो सकता है, कितनी कंपनसेशन मिलेगी, रिट्रेंचमेंट कंपनसेशन कब कब मिलेगा, वो इस लॉ में है. तो ये क्रिटिसिज्म मत लिखना, ये गलत क्रिटिसिज्म है जो अखबारों में भी आप पढ़ते होगे. ऑल काइंड ऑफ वर्कर, शुभम, आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू. Akash, I hope you heard me, but the onus is on the employer and the workers, both. But of course, it will take time to educate them, no doubt. But over the period, they will be educated. At least we are making a beginning in that direction.